Cause I don't wanna lose the love of my life. Give me guidance just to make things right. First woman I ever seen, I thought of making my wife. I know the way I've been lately, making you think twice. Cause there's no progress without self-awareness. I didn't know I treated your heart so careless. Girl, you got a right to be mad. In all fairness, I love you and I hope you come home when you hear this. A work in progress just relating.
Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome back to the motherfucking Slandering Table. Make some noise for yourself.
I'm not going to do it, but yeah.
It's okay. We're going to put it in because we always do. Pause. That's crazy. That's crazy. Welcome back to the Slandering Table. You know who it is. It's your boy, Jedi Jet P, a.k.a. Hans McGee, Jet Perry, live and direct in your ears, coming through your speakers. We got Coffee Beatty right here. But we also have, well, we're down 2 men, right?
We also don't have.
Surprise, surprise. But we're also up 2 men. Pause. That's crazy. We starting this episode off on a wrong note. Yeah. Let's just run it back from the top. We got 2 special guests here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with this man right here.
Hey, I already know what the fuck going. It's your boy, hon Voyage, a.k.a. Superstar. Sexy ITN and Bit Baby Man, the Pharaoh of Finesse, Heartbreak Kid, the Coquito Cowboy. It's a pleasure to be here. God is the greatest.
Yes, sir.
Word up.
Yeah, and there it is.
And this gentleman right here.
Connecticut, we in the building. It's your boy, DJ Mr. Ivory Snow. But, you know, just call me Snow for short.
That sounds like a radio drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He built for it, yeah. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
Long time.
Appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you for having us.
We're off to a late start, but you know, look at the color of our skin.
Jeez.
CP
so
time.
we have 2. You guys are 2 creatives, right? We have a hip hop artist, also a hip hop artist and DJ, producer, engineer.
Renaissance man,
of course.
Yeah.
Does a little bit of everything.
and now middle school teacher.
Oh,
word.
Congrats, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
You are certified?
No, so I work for a black-owned arts program called June Archer School of Arts. Shout out to June Archer. And I'm in Waterbury where I teach at 2 public middle schools. Well, they're like K through 8 schools, and I teach kids how to DJ.
Word.
That's fire.
Yeah.
The fact that they even have classes like that now, that makes me happy.
Well,
makes me smile.
it's a different generation. Like, you know, back when we were coming up, I feel like it was just like not pure instruments, but like, you know, how it's like, oh, let's play the recorder.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, word.
Now it's just like,
goddamn recorder.
like,
But here's
you know.
the incentive, though. Like, so I see both schools once a week for 10 weeks. And the cool part about it is the kids get to compete with each other. And at the end of the course, whoever wins gets to go home with a laptop and a controller. And we give that away for free. And the class is free. All they got to do is sign up, and we giving out equipment for free.
Nice.
You want to look down the barrel real quick and tell them what school this is?
So one of the schools is called Carrington, and then the other school is called Window Cross. I don't know where I'm looking at. I know the camera's over there.
Yeah, that'd be me. That'd be me on every episode.
This is your camera.
Oh, okay. Boom. I didn't even know that was the camera because it's a square. It's
Thank
crazy.
you. Thank
yeah,
you.
had no idea.
Thank
I'm
you.
thinking that's a light right there, but here we are. Okay. Boom.
Told you.
Looking down the barrel. I'm a middle school teacher. Shout out to the Waterbury School District. Peace and love to the commissioner, too, because we got some big we have a big announcement coming soon. I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but allegedly this might actually be a full credited class. So it won't just be an after-school program, allegedly.
Right.
So shout out to Antoine Debnum as well. He's the program director, and he's really been putting in the work to make sure, like, these schools understand that every kid ain't supposed to be athletic. You know, a lot of kids love music, especially with the streaming era, you know, TikTok, Twitch. Like, these kids are looking for an outlet to express themselves. So I'm just happy to be here.
You can change the light color. What you want? What do you guys want?
But yeah, no.
Whatever's clever.
That's cool.
Oh, that's
That
nice.
was-
Red?
I'm saying that. Yeah,
All right,
I mean,
yeah.
you could cycle through.
I mean, we
That's
can.
cool.
Not
We
wrong
can.
with purple either.
I I don't know.
You said purple?
Not wrong with purple. That's my favorite
Let's
color.
see. Let's
The
see. I
purple?
like purple. Purple's cool.
Cool.
All right.
Purple's cool. I'll fuck with it.
Okay. I
Regal,
mean, we could change it
loyal.
periodically
Yes,
too.
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
What would Prince
here.
do?
R.I.P. Prince. I was just about to say
It's
that.
here. So
Legend shit. But yeah, nah. Shout out to Waterbury School District for giving kids the opportunity to, like you said, not everybody can be Brock Lesnar or LeBron James,
Or
but
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
yes,
There
true.
you
Also
go.
that. So having the opportunities to get to learn early how to DJ and create as an artist is dope. And speaking of children and art,
Mm-hmm.
do you guys think it's childlike? I put that in quotations, air quotes. Do you think it's childlike to pursue a career in the arts as like a full-time living? So like we're from Connecticut, obviously, all of us.
Shout out.
And this isn't necessarily a place known for harboring a lot of like talent in the arts, whether it be music, whether it be acting, film, etc. Like, you know what I mean? So as you age, right? Because we're all in our mid to late 20s / early 30s.
I'm
So
the old head.
Okay.
At the
yeah.
table.
I mean, you didn't have to expose yourself.
We
Yeah.
was going to even throw you under the bus. but yeah. You'll do it yourself.
Who Unc in the back? Yeah. Yeah.
Uncle Snow.
Yeah. Do you, as you guys get older, do you feel like the people surrounding you tend to chase different fields that are quote unquote realistic, whether it be real estate or finance? Why do you think that, and so this is like a multi-layered question.
Mm-hmm.
Why
I
do
see
you
where you're going.
Why do you think that pursuing a career in the arts is always met with
Resistance.
or doubt by, the common folk? And also answering my first question, do you consider it to be childlike to be pursuing the arts as an adult?
If it's childlike, then that's one brave and courageous child. When you say realistic, everyone at this table, the Slandering Table, is being true to themselves. We're being real, the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree that you named things like real estate, etc. One thing my mom always told me, she was never sure about me being an artist until I entered my 20s, and she saw my resume, what I was able to do, my catalog, and she said, if I knew that you had those type of talents, I would have invested in that earlier when you were younger. My mom came from a different generation. 64 she was born in. She's a nurse. And a lot of our folks, unless we're a product of nepotism, they don't believe that's an option for us. We're from a level of society where the working class and blue collar work is popular. So I don't think it's childlike at all. Those are the type of connotations that come with the pursuit of the artist, the entertainer, the musician, the DJ, you know what I'm getting at. And of course, we're going to need funds to supply the end goal. Real estate's actually a beautiful outlet to fund the end goal. You sell the right house with about $10, imagine. $10,000 in commission.
Maybe in fucking 1935.
Exactly. And that $10 will stretch you for a few weeks. But no, maybe not. But actually, 1935.
Yeah, $10 was a lot of money.
Maybe.
$35 gonna fill up a fridge, I think.
Yeah.
But $10K.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I've never had $10K at one time.
You're not alone in that. Not to interrupt you, but I think I said it on the last episode, but like they say 75% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved, let alone $10,000.
It wasn't until my at one time when I was like 19, I lived with my folks, and there's nothing wrong with that, like, what I'm saying, but I didn't have to cover as many bills, as many costs, and it was easier for me to save money. it wasn't until my mid-20s, later 20s, I was able to start really stacking up a K plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. You got car troubles. And like I said, if you're not born into money, if you're not a product of nepotism, you're really grinding on campaign mode, you know, for yourself. For yourself, working on your own
Crazy
legacy.
analogy.
You dig. I've always looked at life kind of like a video game because you level up, you unlock characters, you unlock new parts of the map. You know what I'm saying? I've never had business in Ridgefield until this evening.
Interesting.
Yeah, the map was grayed out for you before we asked you. This part of the map was dead ass grayed out.
was like grayed out for
Message
you.
from Jet P. Meet me in Ridgefield, and then you got the
There's
slide
the side quest,
playing.
yeah. Now you got the side quest.
Grand Theft Auto music playing.
When I hear the term childlike, because your question could be taken many different ways. So like how he just answered. What's your name again, sir?
Xavier.
Xavier. How Xavier just answered it. But also like what he started off with, your being brave, like your inner child being brave, because you have to be brave to do this. I had no idea when I was 9 years old and I wrote my first rap that I would experience so much resistance. Like, this entire journey has been fucking crazy. I had no idea that I would even be a teacher, because I don't believe in realistic at all. Like, even being a teacher happened because of God. Like, even becoming a DJ, I was asleep and God woke me up out my sleep and was like, go be a DJ. Like, it was crazy, literally. So I don't know. Realistic is whatever you decide what your life is supposed to be. The resistance part, and I got to be very gentle with this because I know somebody's going to be watching this, and I don't want to put them out there like that because they're my family. But, you know, I've had family members be like placing fear on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting emotional thinking about this because it's a very emotional question, but I don't know why, like, people just literally, art is around you, right? Somebody had to draw a building to build it. Somebody had to make this table. Somebody had to make these cameras. So the fact that you could be someone of so much talent and be around a lot of people, and motherfuckers will look at you like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not supporting that. Like, I'm not putting no dollar into that. Because I come from the era where you had to do mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Mixtapes. I'm aging myself again.
Uncle as hell. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? CDs, tapes, mixtapes. Like, we had to go stand out in the street, go sell yourself, you know, to other people. Like, I remember, you know, my mom driving me to 106 in Park to try out for Freestyle Friday. Like, this was like a real grind, you know, having to deal with public scrutiny, having to deal with going to showcases and being called trash, or like nobody clapping for you because, you know, everybody in the crowd is an artist. It ain't even like people enjoying music. It's just like everybody waiting their turn just to get on stage.
Right.
You know, so you know, the childlike part for me is the bravery part that Xavier spoke on, because you have to keep that inner child alive. Because when you start to hit 30, like when I turned 28, I had a wild nervous breakdown, and you know, because of my life experiences within the industry, like I keep it real with you. My last record label meeting was at Nas's label Mass Appeal, and so if I start waterworking, it is what it is. Like, I'm just gonna do it. We all
Tears,
men here.
tears are allowed on the Slandering Table.
Like, it is what it is. We men, we cry. That's what it is. Like, I'm an emotional dude, so it is what it is. But so when I got a call to that the A&R from Mass Appeal wanted to see me, I was like, oh, this is a done deal. I said Nas's label, especially with the type of music that I do, I was like, this is easy. Like, this is a no-brainer. So I brought my laptop, got my hard drive with me. I had like $40 on me. You know, it costs like $21 just to get on the train to go, you know, to go to the city. And so I get there and I meet with the A&R, and the person that put me on to the meeting, the A&R had a problem with. So he was like, yo, he was like, yeah, such and such is your man's, right? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, it's funny how he need me now, but he used to shit on me back then.
Uh-oh.
So like the whole meeting kind of started off sour already. So I start playing my music and he's nodding his head and he turns off my music to play somebody else's. So I look at him, I was like, yo, bro, like, shout out to whoever you playing right now, but like I came here with my last $20. Like, I need you to listen to what I got to say.
Yeah.
So we continue to play the music. He's nodding his head. He's fucking with some of the joints, and he looks at me and he goes, he was like, so who wrote this? I said, I wrote it. He was like, who produced it? I'm like, I produced it. He was like, who engineered it? I'm like, I engineered it. He was like, wow, so you wrote it, produced it, and engineered it? I'm like, yeah. And he leans back in his chair and he goes, nah, you're too talented. We can't sign you. So I'm like, what does that mean? And he was saying, he was like, nah, nigga, you gonna end up taking up all the money. We not gonna get paid. So I'm like, what does that mean? He was like, you do everything by yourself. You gonna be collecting 90% of the check. And I remember that shit broke me. That shit sent me into like a 5-year depression. Like I'm 34 now, like probably last year is when I really came out of that because I was living in that story because that was my entire life being told I was too talented. And I had no idea because I only started doing things by myself so I didn't have to pay for studio time, so I didn't have to burden other people with my ideas because I know I'm a very spontaneous person. So I'm just like, my boy that I used to work with, he used to engineer all my stuff, but I could tell he was getting frustrated and irritated because he's an artist too. So I was like, you know what, let me relieve him of his duties and go to an engineering school. And I went to an engineering school in New York. So I'm thinking to myself, all my favorite people, whether it's Q-Tip, Ryan Leslie, Kanye West, are all multifaceted. Dr. Dre makes headphones. Nobody told Pharrell he can't make a couch. Nobody said, Pharrell, you can't make a SpongeBob couch. Like, so people are telling me, nigga, you were too talented. You do too much. And it was to the point where I couldn't even find management either. Like people would, because a lot of people front like they managers because they can just get their artist studio time and they think that's work. And that's a little bit of part of the work. But when sometimes, and what I learned is some people see people who do a lot and don't know where they can fit in. And I'm like, all you have to do is just handle the business, you know? So again, I'm sorry to be long-winded, but the resistance part is something that like, it shocks me, you know, from family to friends. I mean, you can have friends you do music with and niggas don't want you to have the best verse. Like I done had people I do music with lower my verse on a song, fucking up my vocals. Yo, real talk, yo.
Can you relate?
You know, it's funny.
Talk your strap. Talk your shit. Don't name drop, but you know.
I'm not gonna name drop. I'm not gonna name drop. I don't know if it was intentional.
Okay.
But I was sabotaged
All
recently.
Right.
No. Because I had a verse on
Sabotage. That's crazy.
I had a verse on one of my man's tracks that came out. Was it early this year or like late last year? Killed that nigga. Killed that nigga. I know I did. All in the spirit of friendly competition. You know what I mean?
Right.
The engineer that mixed it, we have a friendly competition, right? And it just so happens, like he was saying, my vocals were mixed real low. You know,
They gave you the
EQ'd mad weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mad low end on my verse. It was like almost like depending on where you listen to it, you could understand if you play it in like phone speakers, but like
Niggas
if you're
gave
in
you
like car
the nav
speakers,
verse on Yosemite.
Sound the same.
the original nav verse on Yosemite. That's what.
Yeah.
Away on the island.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah. That getting past major label engineers is crazy though. Like that was unexcusable. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a crazy story though, bro. Like I think I remember you talking about that on Facebook or something. You were saying how you were like you didn't tell the full story, but obviously, but like you had said something about you being
No, you good.
Yeah. That is very unprofessional.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it wasn't long-winded at all, if I can just interject. I learned a lot just from like your sequence there, that story.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I've heard, a lot of my friends that have dipped their toes further in the industry than I have tell me stories about how it is and how the inner workings are. And it's like, it's fucked up, and it can get very discouraging for especially like young artists, like younger than us. I mean, we could still be considered young artists, but like even younger than us that are like, that whatever their goals are to get signed or.
But can I tell y'all the kicker that ended it though?
Go ahead.
Please.
So
The kicker that ended
the meeting,
right.
Oh.
Okay.
because again, it's so much. Because again, he started hating when I got in there off of the strength of who my man's was that brought me into the meeting.
Was your boy in the meeting
And
with
then
you?
he came in, so I got there first, and then he came after, like a few minutes after. So I didn't tell him because he said a lot more about my man's before he got there. So I let him know, which is kind of like why I thought the whole shit was sabotaged to begin with. But at the very end, when he, said his spiel, he was like, he was telling me one day his lawyer called him, and he's like, yeah, I got this guy I think you should manage. I think his name is like Donald Glover or something like that. He's on some show called 30 Rock. I think it would be a great opportunity for you to manage him. He's like, he seems like he's really talented. I think he's going to go far. And he told his lawyer he was like, I already got one weirdo rapper. I don't need another one. So I was like,
Your manager said this?
no. So the dude,
The
the
other
A&R, the A&R's
okay,
lawyer
okay.
called the A&R who I had the meeting with and told him that he should manage Donald Glover. Now we see what Childish Gambino turned into, right? So I looked at the nigga square in his eyes and I was like, don't you think God gave you another opportunity for you to do right?
Yes. Oh, goodness. Amen.
And he looked at me and he said, nah, nigga, I don't take no risk. I got to keep the lights on.
Wow.
And
Probably
I,
one of the worst decisions he ever didn't make. You know?
Boxed himself in. He
Yo,
snoozed
okay.
on Bitcoin
I
when it was
shook
just
his
100.
hand. I shook that nigga hand and I was like, yo, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm leaving. I was like, thank you. And we left and to add insult to injury, me and homie, we pulled up to Insomnia Cookies to get some cookies, but we parked in front of a bus stop and I'm standing behind the car like eating the cookies, and all of a sudden I see a blue shirt and I walk around and it's a guy giving the car a ticket, and because we was in front of the bus stop, it's $500.
Wow.
$500 ticket is crazy. You were in Manhattan?
I was in Manhattan,
Yeah.
bro.
Only place that'll happen on this planet.
That
Only-
$500 ticket is
$500.
crazy.
I think it might have been like adjacent to a handicap spot
Yeah,
too.
they'll
and I'm
hit you
like,
with they'll hit you
That was a
double
combo
park.
move.
Yeah, it was a
they'll hit you
combo
with
move.
anything.
I'm like, bro, I was standing right here. This is my car. So then another cop car pulled up because she seen me talking to him. I'm like, miss, I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm like, I'm here. He was like, I already processed it. I'm sorry. And so we ended up paying $512 for some cookies.
For all that for some damn insomnia. That's crazy.
Should've called up 2 Chainz. I need this episode of Most Expensive Shit right now.
Word up. Yeah.
You won't believe these cookies I just bought.
I think the worst part about that story was it's like just being talented, or like hearing somebody tell you you're talented and saying nah just because, like, it's like you're gonna take all the money. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, that just sounded wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, just because, not saying you have a gift, but like something that you've been working hard for,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody realizing that potential and then just being like, nah, we can't, because you coming from my spot now, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really wild, like how people will be like, I can't have, like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you a liability more than an asset.
Which is backwards thinking. If you had a skill, like if I wanted to start a podcast or whatever, and y'all had the knowledge on all the lights and the cameras and all this stuff, it would behoove me to ask you a question. And then especially if you giving me tips like how your mans was in here earlier, Ian, shout out to Ian, was giving information on how TikTok works. I'm gonna be like, yo, Ian gave me the gems. Y'all gave me the gems on the camera. Like, I've never been a hater
Right.
at all. Like, if you gonna help me get somewhere, then I'm gonna give you your credit.
Yes.
You know, or I'm gonna imply you into my project or whatever, because none of us could be a one-man team at all. But people get intimidated by the dumbest shit ever, and they look at you, like you said, like a liability, and it's like, yo, there's no way that somebody who can do everything could be a liability, especially when y'all labels is suffering now. Y'all not making no money because y'all trying to max out on people who are just personalities, right? And so somebody who has the personality and the talent, like, fool, come get this bread. Come do this 50-50 with me. But again, you know, like I said, it sent me into a 5-year depression, and it took a lot of therapy and just a lot of, like, you know, getting back to God for real for me to even sit down and being able to have this conversation, because, like, I've dealt with suicidal thoughts for a long time, since my teens. And, you know, it was rumored that Van Gogh killed himself because he was upset that no one wanted to buy his art. And so it's alleged that because of that feeling, he offed himself, and then his art became meaningful later on. You know what I'm saying? So like that, when I read that story, and again, it's alleged, we don't know if that's actually true, that kind of fucked me up, because for somebody who's been dealing with that kind of depression, I'm just like, well, you know, it was a point where I was even like planning on making my last album and being like, well, fuck it, like, I don't have no purpose of living anyway if don't nobody want to fuck with my shit. But then I get a phone call to be a teacher, and then I get in front of these kids, and I'm just like, dag, like, I finally have a purpose now. Like, if seeing a child be receptive to you, and, you know, being receptive to you and trusting you. Because my class isn't just about DJing. It's about, my first day of class is about identity. And I tell my kids, I say, name yourself after whatever you want. I don't care if it's your favorite food, anime. I done had my students name themselves DJ Cocoa Puffs because they love Cocoa Puffs.
I mean, that's a little fire. I'm not going to hold you.
That's kind of hard.
That's kind of hard out. Yeah, I'm not going to hold you. The hardest name I heard so far, and because this is my second year of teaching. So this kid, I forgot his name, but let's say his name is Sam. So I go to Sam's table, and he wrote 3 names down. And I'm like, so what do these names represent? He was like, well, they're the names of my 3 pets that passed away. So he was like, I'm not sure which one to choose because I love all 3 of them. And I was like, well, how about you name yourself something in honor of the deceased? But I'm talking to somebody who I perceived to be, you know, just a young kid. Like, I didn't think he was going to understand what I was asking of him, right? So I go around the table, and about 5 minutes later, I go back to Sam's table, and I look at his paper, and he came up with the most beautiful DJ name I ever heard of, and it was DJ 3 Soul. I said, damn. Bro. Colder than Ivory Snow?
I don't know. He might have the edge. But yeah, it was the most beautiful. So that moment right there let me know that children are just young adults that don't have the vocabulary that we have to express themselves, but they totally understand us, especially from infancy, right? Or is that the word? Or infant age? Infancy is the word. Okay, cool. So especially
somebody will clock it in the comments.
Especially from being an infant, they totally understand us. And now, being that I've had such a success to the point where the school attendance went up 10% because of my class. It went from 80 to 90% because these kids see a purpose in what I'm teaching them.
Yes.
Right? So now we have identity, and then right after that, I'm teaching them confidence. I'm teaching them how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You got to be able to talk to people, talk to new people every single day, and introduce yourself every single day right? And learning that everybody not gonna like you all the time. Everybody not gonna like what you have to provide. You could be the nicest person in the world, but somebody gonna think you suck. Somebody gonna think you suck, and that's okay. You might make a mistake. You might make a mistake doing one of these transitions, but you got to be okay with making a mistake and learning how to recover from it.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole recovery process in my life is being able to be a teacher and being in front of these kids. So I'm thankful.
That's beautiful.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your
That might be the best.
Yeah.
That might better be the best ISO in the podcast this season, bro. That was great.
Malik would disagree, right? But
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
he's not here to combat you.
These
so.
bitches in their makeup. Yeah. That's your competition, by the way. So I think you're in good standings.
I relate to that a lot. I relate to that a lot because I've definitely been through bouts of depression doing what I do.
That was my follow-up question. Like, how do y'all, as you age and, obviously everybody in this room, you're not a recording artist, but like you're an artist in your own sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Everybody in this room, in an ideal world, you'd want to break through. You want to be the big superstar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like every year that passes and you're not there yet, how do you remain motivated and how do you not get in your head about the whole process of like, I'm not where I want to be?
For the first time in my life, I found love, my girlfriend, and we started off as best friends.
Shout out to Love.
And that goes to my music. She always tells me she's my biggest fan. And she said, it's not just because you're my boyfriend. Like, and by the way, I introduced myself as Xavier. My stage name is hon Voyage, but my name is Xavier Sean Washington. It's always been a part of me.
hon Voyage, that's fire.
Voyage. Thank you,
Smooth
brother.
as a motherfucker.
Thank you, brother.
That sound like a
Brandy.
cologne, nigga. Like
Yes,
I
it
would
do.
buy that.
Eau de toilette.
Yeah, eau de toilette or hon Voyage.
Oh, Allah. And shout out to my mademoiselle because I found love. I've never had any fortune with romance in my life. I've had trysts, flings, whatever you want to call them. Playboy lifestyle. Everybody want to go for it as a man, you know what I'm saying? A heterosexual man at some point in your life, man, trying to stack up on these bitches, you know? And what they say is true about just, the sexual relations and spreading yourself thin. You're releasing energy when you're doing this. And you can tell the difference when you finally meet a woman like that in your life because what women want from you, they like it because you know how to manage your money and you can spend it on them. What? They like you because you know how to sling the dick well. What? They like you because you're a high-value man. You might remind them of a good man.
Or they like you for what you do.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And my mama told me that. She said, you got to make sure these women aren't falling in love with a hon Voyage, but Xavier or Sean Washington, who I was
hon
born
Voyage.
at. Thank you, brother.
You like that shit?
I love it.
We gonna connect y'all before we get out of here. We gotta connect y'all.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, that need to be on a product something like real talk. A hon Voyage, that's a top seller.
Thank you, brother.
Nordstrom's, I can see it now.
And I'm going to
Real
keep
talk.
selling it to my heart stop. I made that commitment with God. Like you said, I've gotten closer to God over the years too. At this point in my life, I don't care if I don't blow up to a large level. It doesn't concern me. I was designed to do what I do. It's love. Put the drugs away. Put the alcohol up. Leave the promiscuity alone. Love is the answer. And I look at your Playboy Cardis. I look at the Travis Scott's, the Lil Mabu. I don't want that. I don't want that.
That last name was the most random one to name.
Yeah,
With Travis
yeah,
Scott
I
and
was
Playboy
with you.
Cardi.
I was like,
It's the white kid. He's nice though. That white kid.
Okay.
He had
Yeah.
that song with Fabio that just went viral recently.
No idea.
Yeah, no
It's like
idea.
How to Drill
But-
or something.
Jesus Christ.
He's like,
okay.
I could drill
I
on
know
a
that
scooter.
song.
Yeah.
Did some Blueface. He got Chris Sean rocking.
Yeah,
his
he's like
music
some
videos
nerdy
okay.
white kid who raps, but
from
like
New York and all
yeah.
that.
He's
But
nice though. He's
Okay.
nice.
what I'm saying, I'm not downplaying what they're doing. They're getting money. I'm sure they're taking care of their families, handling themselves. But I don't want to be known in the world as that type of entertainer, that type of performer. Music is very impactful to malleable minds, and all minds are malleable. All minds are susceptible to influence. And when someone sees that you have riches, power, influence, and they hear and see the content that you put out, they may mistake it as righteous. And I just don't want to lead people astray because I love people. I love myself. And if you talked to me 5 years ago, I would have told you, I want the bag. I want the bag.
Word.
One of my favorite recording artists ever, rest his soul, MF Doom. He mentioned himself. Being a rapper, being an MC used to be about showing up to a spot and just about being nice, spitting. People doing it for the art. And then at some point, I'd say in the 90s probably, hip-hop rap was perverted. And it was made all about money, a business tool. The look rather than the substance. The look, like you said, the personality. And sure, you got to have personality to be an artist. But why are we selling how you dressed all the time? Why are we selling your antics? And I love how MF Doom put that because I'm even going to be pulling some of my songs that I released in the past from all stores. I'll keep them on SoundCloud, but I'm going to be pulling them because they don't properly portray the man that you're talking to and looking at today. There's certain things I said, there's certain topics I covered and discussed that I'm just like, I don't want younger, malleable minds to think that that's all right. I've done what I've done. I used to think what I think is cool, but growth. And just to touch on the depression, things that have helped me pull out of depression and to tie into what you addressed too, do you feel any support? I do. I feel support at this table.
Yeah, you did ask that too.
I feel support at this table. We had never met until we heard each other's music.
Right.
You remember me reaching out to you, telling you the growth was a very powerful song. I listened to it. At the time, I was living with my one of my closer friends in his grandma's place. I lived in the basement, slept on the couch. I was in between that couch and West Con's dormitory. And I heard your song, The Growth, along with the music video, and I heard everything. I don't miss a beat. I'm very hyper-focused on something that I think is neat. And I thought it was beautiful. You described your life. You described pain. The beat was beautiful. And at that point, I knew, wow, Connecticut has a lot more talent than I thought. And I remember actually bumping into you in person for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, at Black Minds Matter in South Norwalk.
So that wasn't I think that might have been the first time we met, but I remember when you reached out to me about The Growth. Correct. I then checked out your music from like the internet and I'm like, yo, you want to perform at this event we're throwing? You know what I mean? So like I didn't even meet you, but like I just off the strength of the music, I was like, I fuck with this dude, I fuck with his energy. He's a showman. That's something that I always talk about. Showmanship is dead in music a lot of the time because, you know, artist development is not a thing anymore, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, you know what I mean? I just invited you to perform at the show because I'm like, yo, I fuck with this dude. I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but like, you know what I mean? I like his energy. I like his music, like, you know, and I appreciate you. I appreciated you reaching out, telling me that you actually like the music. Like, I feel like everybody's too cool a lot of the time. We talking about like support and stuff. Word. A lot of people are too cool to give you your flowers while you're here. God forbid something happened to you. God forbid something to happen to you. Yes. You have no idea how many Ivory Snow fans are probably not. I'm not even just talking Connecticut. Yeah. Ohio, Florida, California, just that would be in mourning. Like, damn, this dude was a visionary. This dude was an architect. And I never understood the idea of like keeping your flowers to yourself if you fuck with something.
Yes. So I have some accountability I need to take.
Right. So
first and foremost, I spent a lot of time, you know, supporting a lot of different people in Stamford because a lot of people from my generation got their first start in my house. And I'm grateful for that. So because that didn't turn out well, and I also think it was like a maturity thing, that made me not want to fuck with nobody. And that made me like very angry, like where at the people where I live at all artists. So like,
you mean not supporting you?
Not supporting me, but it made me not want to support other people.
Oh, okay.
So I was the nigga that didn't give no flowers because I'm like, yo, fuck y'all. Like, I was on Hot 97 first, nigga. Like, I was in Bathing Ape. I did all this shit. I got all these accolades. Like, y'all niggas never showed up for none of my shows. And when I first heard of your name, like, I ain't put no respect on your name. Right. And this is me Straight up. I need to be accountable. Real talk. I didn't put no respect on your name because I was still in between my own bitterness, you know, and my own bullshit going on in the industry and all this other stuff. So when I would see you would have shows and all this other greatness, I'm like, yo, fuck this nigga. This nigga ain't called me. He ain't called Snow. You ain't called Snow to get on stage, nigga. You think you better than me? I'm sitting here looking at the phone like, man, fuck this clown ass nigga. This nigga named Jet Perry like a motherfucker. What the fuck is a jet, nigga? I didn't say that, but I'm clowning. But I'm
clipping that. I might use that as a tag. I might use that as a tag for real.
Big boy made
That shit's okay.
No, but
That's funny.
My own bitterness blinded me from seeing a lot of the greatness that's out here. So that's why I said outside. I'm like, yo, I be forgetting how different it is up here. And there's so many gems. Like, I tell people that Connecticut is like, you know, various countries in Africa where you got gold over here, you got lithium over here, you got whatever over here, you got whatever over here, vibranium.
The Infinity Stones.
Real talk.
Thanos knew what he was doing.
Real we have so much to offer. First of all, thank you for having me here and I'm glad we're doing it at this time because I'm able to be way more receptive. You know, I'm no longer being a hater. And that goes for a lot. I'm looking down the barrel. There's goes for a lot of people because I know that I, especially as somebody who, I'm aging myself, but like, you know, in the beginning, like this ain't cap. Like I was really out here like, yo, you rap? All right, come to my house. Like anybody who from Stamford who's from my age group, I was like, you rap, you sing, come to my house. Mm-hmm. And I would cook everybody a big ass meal all the time. I was cooking meals. And then we would sit, eat, and then we would be in my crib for like 12 hours and shit. Like, and shout out to my moms. My mother was pissed all the time.
I bet. Yeah.
Random niggas in the crib. You know what I'm saying? And again, me being such a giver, because I'm naturally, I love to help out. I love to reach out. But after all of that, I became a hater. And so this is the first time I'm admitting this out loud because I'm really working on turning a new leaf and just taking accountability. So I apologize for being a hater towards you.
Of course, I had no idea, but
yeah, for real, like.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But we got to a place where you would show love. You know what I mean? I remember I think you sent me Saving All My Love, and you're like, bro, we got to link. We got to make some shit. Like, mind you, we're still yet to make some music, but
yeah, I need a new laptop.
Okay,
so yeah,
it's
that's
coming.
all it is.
It's coming. I'm
yeah,
but yeah, just to quickly give you your flowers real quick. I mean that's partially why I call you, the architect, because like it's more than just I produce, I record, I rap, et cetera, et cetera. Like, yeah, I think you're really one of the foundational pieces, and you're a few years older than me. I'd say not a full generation, but like kind of like
I think we're still in the same generation.
We like as far as like the Gen Z and shit goes. Yeah. But like as far as like specifically Stamford rap, right? The Stamford hip hop scene. When you were coming up, you're of that Crime City era, like with Chris Murda and JP the President.
But shout out to Chris Murda, like.
But that's what I'm saying. You, Chris Murda, like.
Pioneers.
There are foundational pioneers, and I know people can be like, "Who the fuck are pioneers?" This and that. It's like, yo, if you see everything Murda's doing, if you see everything Murda's been doing with First Class, him and Mike Melodia, shout out to him.
Shout out to Mike.
And what you've done in your career, you've opened a lot of doors for specifically Stamford rappers. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, growing up, I saw guys like Chris Webby and stuff, and Webby's from Norwalk, and shout out to Webby, of course. But like, I felt more connected to you because you're a black man from Stamford, and like. At that time I didn't know you like that, but I always kind of looked up to you in a way because it's like, yo, this dude, like, and I knew
and
that
you see what he just said, and this is why for everybody who's an artist that's going through some shit, get out your bitterness. You see what he just said? Naturally, he said, I looked up to you, and I don't take that lightly. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like taking accountability. Like, bro, we could have been done something. Had I got out my own ego. You feel me? This could have been happened a long time ago. I probably could have been knew about these cameras and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate having this conversation now because it really is time for growth. We have too much talent out here. I don't understand why. I mean, we have like behind the scenes people because I don't want to say nobody because I meet producers and like behind the scenes people, but nobody in the forefront has been able to penetrate the game and complete the tri-state because we got legends from Jersey, of course, legends from New York, but we're part of the tri-state. People think that Philly is part of the tri-state, and I'm like, Philly ain't a fucking state. Number one.
Yeah,
You'd be
first and
surprised how
foremost.
many people make that fucking mistake.
Geographically challenged.
I was
Yeah.
arguing with somebody
Geographically
about
challenged.
that.
Yeah. People think Philly is part of the tri-state. I'm not mad at it, but it's not tri, but we the tri. We the third. You know what I'm saying? So it could be quad, whatever. We could because Philly is quad state. Quad state. I fuck with Philly, but it just it irritates me. But I think everything in due time because this conversation right here is gonna be the birth of something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that.
You ever been in a room, teacher or professor, somebody, trainer, I'm like, okay, who's gonna go first? You look around, everybody looking dumbfounded,
Mm-hmm.
and you the only one that had the nuts to raise your hand?
Mm.
That's what it's gonna take in Connecticut. There's a reason why. I've been in a couple of Chris Webby's music videos. I'm decently networked with some of his producers, whatever. And I spoke to Webby one time, and I said, hey, man, why don't you vlog some more, do this and that, and get bigger? And he was like, yeah, no, you're probably right, but I'm good with what I'm doing. Chris Webby enjoys what he does at the level he does. He's cozy, and he's living off it, so he should be.
Mm-hmm.
However, what we're describing, just to kind of paraphrase an MF Doom song, sells, and from the dust, a champion will rise. That shit's up to us.
Mm-hmm.
And don't feel bad about, you know what I'm saying? I know you might not necessarily feel bad, but y'all could have been doing something. That's not the way the story was written. It takes a big man to take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I know that because I do it all the
in
time
public,
every
too.
day, and it hurts sometimes.
On
On
camera.
camera in 4K.
Especially,
Yeah, I don't
yes.
give a fuck, bro.
It
I don't
hurts.
give.
It can hurt to take accountability, to call yourself out, to check yourself, to be more truthful, to be there properly for your people.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts. I know it does. I felt the pain. I feel it today. So I'm healing from stuff. Emotional pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know that meme, Asian dude? Emotional damage. That's real. I laugh at it, but he ain't fucking lying.
Yeah.
And another thing you said, just with you being so talented in all of those fields, I'm only a songwriter. I have an ear for music. Sometimes I co-produce with my close friend and one of my main producers, Laren Baluli, better known as Electric Sound. And, you know, I'll say, oh, we should do this. We should add this. I have the ear for it. I'm not technically challenged to put beats together. I'd like to learn along the road.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why you hear some about these artists describing how going independent is one of the routes right now in the game. Because what you just described, a lot of people are ignorant to and naive about,
Mm-hmm.
myself included. That's why I said I enjoyed every bit of your story. It wasn't long-winded. I learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to that table with the A&R. I've done my own things in entertainment. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And you learned just how the industry can be, what it is, how it works a little better.
Mm-hmm.
We can't afford you. That's what he said. He got to keep his lights on and all that nonsense. He can't afford you. When it's all said and done, if I'm not mistaken, Jay-Z put Kanye on. It wasn't necessarily a label that came and grabbed him. But I know he made beats before, but
Right.
Jay-Z put him in that light.
I gotta
Lord
give it
knows.
to Dame. I gotta give it to Dame.
Oh, Dame. Okay.
Yeah, right.
That's
Jay-
why I said correct me.
Yo,
People credit Jay-Z
Yeah.
because he's Jay-Z, but Dame is the one who brought him to the table. Like,
And I
you know,
just feel
Understood.
like if
Kanye
he saw
just
that
went
clip,
with- he
that
went
nigga
with-
would go off like I'm just like, oh,
Who,
Lord.
Dame?
Yeah, Dame. Would be
oh yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
why I'm
like,
clarifying
Lord.
it, Dame. Don't come for us. Who the fuck is the slandering table, nigga?
Right.
Fuck y'all niggas.
You ain't
Pause.
a boss. Y'all got bosses.
Yeah,
you ain't
facts.
a boss.
Yeah. You work for school. All three of y'all work for schools. Grown ass men.
Right.
See, because if you
Yeah,
don't do
my
the
fault,
homework,
Dame.
if you don't do the homework and the research like I haven't done, you hear songs like Big Brother and you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah. I know what you mean, though.
partially why Dame has. You could still tell Dame has some bitterness, but like real quick, I'm gonna let you get back to it. But you know, when Rockefeller was a thing, Dame brought Kanye to the table. Like, yeah, this Kanye dude, he's nice. Blah blah blah. Kanye started making beats for the Blueprint, et cetera, et cetera. When Rockefeller split up, Kanye said, I'm going with the nigga who's the king of the rap right now. I'm going with Jay-Z.
Right.
Dame was still bitter about it, but to my knowledge, I think they have a decent relationship now, him and Kanye. But like Dame has to be. I usually credit Dame with Kanye, like giving us Kanye. As a rapper, though, if you're looking at Jay-Z's resume, who did Jay-Z bring us? You can add Kanye, obviously, Rihanna, Neo, et cetera, Beanie.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And shout out to taking accountability. I know it's not easy. And I remember one time I hated on Chris Webby on Twitter when I still went by Black Coffee. And just because I was good at freestyling, I claimed to be the best rapper in Connecticut.
Right.
I was like, I'm the best. I was like, Chris Webby's not that good. I'm telling you, I was in high school for approximately 15 years old. And I wasn't met with some hyped up, heated response like, who are you, little dude, little nigga, you ain't nothing, you a little boy, you ain't never done nothing, we ain't never heard of you. No, it was somebody that replied on Chris Webby's behalf saying, hey man, what you need to realize is that Chris Webby's worked very hard and a long time to get where he is. And, I'm paraphrasing, and he said essentially, hopefully, if you do the same for yourself, you know what it's like. Humbled.
And most people won't admit when they are humbled, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, bro.
Humbled. He could have called me bad words, could have called me a loser, whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He broke it down for me.
I think every artist I'll speak for myself.
Yeah, in my experience.
And you. I feel like every artist, and it's not just Connecticut or exclusive to Chris Webby. I feel like the top dog, quote unquote, the most recognizable, the face of whatever it is, even like the way that, LeBron's been treated throughout his career. When you're seen as the guy, everybody's coming for it, the guy.
They're on your ass.
Yeah.
The Drake, the LeBron, and in
sure.
Connecticut's, in terms of Connecticut's like hip hop scene, Chris Webby. I felt the same way too. That you did at 15 at one point. I was like, man, Webby ain't this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. You grow up, you get some different perspective. And obviously I've met Webby multiple times. And I've opened for the dude. I was in a music. It's funny that you say that. I was in his last music video that just dropped. And he works closely with Squires. And so Squires had shown him a record the Somebody New record that me and Squires came out with earlier this year.
Yes.
And though me and Webby have met many times, that was the first time he like acknowledged me as like an artist, really. Like he was like, yeah, dude, I seen the video, like it was dope. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, it's really fire, like keep it up, blah, blah, blah. And like, obviously, it meant a lot just because like, I'm like, I used to be kind of a hater as a teenager, but like, as I've grown up, I've grown to like really respect Webby's grind and his work ethic because like you said, he's never
grind and work ethic.
Yeah. And like, even if you don't like the music personally, you got to respect somebody who, changes the lives of people around him and his own life. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then, he hit me with the follow last week. So I was like, word, you know what I mean? Like,
full circle.
Yeah,
And
full circle moment. So
gonna
shout out
hear
to Chris
music.
Webby, of course.
Shout out to Chris Webby and Maserati Ray too.
You know Ray?
Yeah,
I fuck with Ray.
See,
Ray do
okay.
his thing.
I've been thinking about if I even want to say this shit because
I know you had thoughts on this. Yeah.
Because I be contemplating like, because I don't as much as I can take accountability, I don't mind smoke neither, and so I be trying to be careful on what I say publicly. I respect the man's grind, and shout out to you for whatever work you've done. I've probably heard maybe one or two songs, and this shit probably don't even matter. So do what y'all want with this clip, because some people might watch this shit and might think this shit is just dumb and trivial. So nobody probably remembers this shit, but if you a hip hop fan and you like podcasts, you would probably find yourself following a guy by the name of Talib Kweli. And who has a podcast called, I'm not gonna mention that shit because fuck him and his promotion and the promotion. But he called himself saying fuck Connecticut in one of his episodes.
I saw the clip,
I think I heard of that actually.
Yeah, so he said fuck Connecticut in one of his episodes. Now, the first person who I heard say some derogatory shit about Connecticut, here I go, I'm about to do it, is Puffy. So Puffy got on Instagram one day and was like, "Oh, you're not gonna find the next Michael Jackson in Connecticut. You got to go to the hood."
Seen that video too. Yeah.
So I ain't really respond to that because I'm like, number one, that's just so stupid. And like, just because you went to Gayle King House in Greenwich don't mean you've been to Connecticut. Like, you don't, you know. So I was just like, all right, whatever, cool.
Yeah, go to Bridgeport with that shit.
He skipped over
like-
Bridgeport, Hartford,
Yeah.
New
Go to
Haven,
the west
Waterbury.
side, Stanford. With
It was
that
just-
shit.
It was
Waterbury.
Stanford.
Right. I'm
Skipped
like,
over.
yo,
Shit
it's-
ain't sweet.
He could have went right to Stanford from
you could
Greenwich.
just, yeah, real talk. I'm just like, as much as that annoyed me, because that already adds to the stigma that like it ain't nothing but rich people out here, in which there's nothing wrong with being surrounded by wealth. That means there's opportunity that we just don't have the
It's not
information to
accurate
tap.
to my personal experience
And it's
in
not
Connecticut.
right to everybody else's. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then we have this kufi wearing nigga Talib Kweli talking about fuck Connecticut. He was making some like bridge and tunnel joke, and he was like, but yeah, fuck Connecticut. And then like his big head mop head ass co-host was like, yeah, fuck Connecticut. What's over there anyway? So I like watched that shit, and I'm just like, all right, I'm bored right now. So while I'm bored, I'm like, let me just make a track because I'm bored. And I look in the comments, and I see this nigga Chris Webby go, and this ain't cap. This is, I got the screenshots and everything just in case you try to lie about this shit. And this is what made me not fuck with him. So he said some shit like, hey, because it was a bunch of people, because even Sholey responded in a freestyle. And it was a bunch of people from Connecticut like, yo, fuck you, fuck out of here. And then Chris Webby comes like, you know, the typical white guy, hey, guys, you know, I've said fuck Connecticut plenty of times. You know, people say fuck where they live all the time. It's like really not that serious, you know, whatever. And I'm looking at the comment. I'm like, nigga, you live here. But again, if anybody sees this clip and like, oh, nigga, it's stupid, let it go. Okay, I'll accept that. But I'm like, yo, I'm from here. I know that when I go to New York, I had to Trojan horse my way through New York just to get gigs as a DJ because they didn't want to hire nobody from Connecticut. So I had to fake pretend like I was from Uptown just so I can get a job because people think that we do unts music up here all day long. Real talk. Like I've had to really mask my way into New York City just to get respect as a DJ. So for him to sit there and say some stupid shit like that, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna add this nigga to the track too. So I did the track because it is what it is. They gonna find it. It's called Fuck Talib Kweli. It's on iTunes, and I dissed this nigga Chris Webby too. He might not even respond to that shit. He don't have to. Like, I'm a little name. He got his own shit going on. He's way more successful than me. Shout out to you, my nigga, but you from here. You live here. Because when I was on High 97, and this is people from my era that could attest to this, when I misspoke about the gentrification in Stamford and the way I said it was wrong when I said, because at the time they had just knocked down Murda projects. They had just finished rebuilding the Village, or I think the Village had just reopened because, you know, the Village looked way different in the 90s than it did now. So in my brain, I misspoke and I said, they gonna get mad at me, but it ain't no more hoods in Stamford.
I remember that controversy because a lot of niggas turned against you because
a lot of niggas, okay? It was looking like World Star
niggas
on
were like,
YouTube.
fuck Ivory Snow. Like,
Niggas was like,
yeah.
fuck me. It was niggas with guns in the video and all kind of shit. Like, it was the first time I had to buy a pistol to protect myself because I was scared for my life. Like, niggas was threatening me. This was voicemail era too. So imagine your mother going through voicemails and niggas is like, yo,
You ain't gonna make it out of LA alive, you fat motherfucker.
Right. Niggas talk about killing me, right? All kind of shit. And I had beef. I had a stalker for 7 years off that shit. Real talk. I had beef with a lot of people for almost a decade off of that shit.
7 years of stalker.
7 years of stalker, my nigga. It was the most scary time of my fucking life being by myself and having to defend myself. And I'm looking like, I know I didn't say nothing wrong because we know.
You were on there with Funk?
No, I was on there with Cypher Sounds. This is when I was in the Bathe the Nape magazine because he used to be associated with Pharrell and Star Trek and stuff like that.
Okay.
Nice.
And by the way, when that magazine came out, I was homeless at that time, but that's another story for another day. So anyway, even though my intentions were there, I still worded it wrong. And the way that I worded it, in fact, did minimize the people that still exist in the hood in Stamford. But I was only looking at things from a surface level because I was seeing the buildings knocked down. And I also said it in a way where I was irritated that the culture was being pushed out because I saw nothing that looked like me when I got off exit 8. Right? So that's the place I was really coming from. I wasn't trying to minimize anybody, but I didn't have the vocabulary at the time. Anyway, long story short, so when I see Chris Webby, and even Kweli was like, oh, it's a joke. I'm like, nigga, you can't say that shit in L.A. You can't say fuck L.A. and go to L.A. and think that everything's all good. Like, I don't care if you went to school out here, my nigga. And again, like Jay-Z said, please don't die over the hoods that your mama renting. I get it. But, nigga, you live here, bro. You live here. Nigga said fuck your house where you make money at. Nigga, where you make money at, where people raise their kids at, where people support you at, you always sell out Toad's place, nigga. How the fuck are you co-signing this shit?
Right.
So again, anybody who watches this shit, if you think it's stupid, cool, I take that. But for me, this is my hometown. When I'm outside, I represent Connecticut. I'm not a New Yorker. I got mad family and friends in New York. I might be a little dead assery. I might wear a lot of Timbs. I got Timbs in all kind of flavors, my nigga. But at the end of the day, I'm from Stamford, Connecticut, and that's what I represent. And I expect that Chris Webby carry himself the same fucking way, especially because he's looked at as the guy. So that's my spiel on that.
I respect that, though. I respect that because, of course, being from Connecticut, because I've never like genuinely talked bad on Connecticut. Fuck Connecticut, I hate Connecticut. I don't. I'd like to flee Connecticut.
I think it's weird when people do that, to be honest. It's like, even I was going to add to you when you were saying, it's like, when you travel and people be like, where are you from?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of just easier to say like New York or some shit.
I heard Andre Drummond pull that bullshit.
It's like, I don't.
Oh, he's from out here, right?
They say Middletown.
So,
And in a right or wrong room, whatever you want to call it, he claimed New York or something.
But it's like, I don't
Allegedly.
know. It's just like, because I guess Connecticut is just like one of the smaller states. But it's like,
but we're one of the original 13
yeah.
colonies.
So like, you know what I mean?
OG Constitution.
You don't
state.
know
Let's
where
talk about it.
Connecticut is? That's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
No, like if it's like, if you're
History, niggas.
that's what I'm saying.
Historical
Let's
facts,
talk
niggas.
about it.
I went to
Y'all need to
WCSU.
respect Connecticut. We are one of the original 13 colonies. Home base, our city, Stamford, of the WWE. Like,
Yes.
now, mind you, depending on how you feel about Vince McMahon,
Vince
maybe
McMahon.
you might feel weird about that now. But like, you know what I mean? We got NBC Sports stationed in Connecticut. Bristol. In Bristol, we got ESPN, the world headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut. You
I
know
went
what
to
I'm saying?
WCSU right in Danbury. Before they were the WCSU Wolves, they were the WestCon Colonials.
Yo, when
the
I used
Western
to
Connecticut
go,
State University Colonials.
when I used to go visit my father in New Jersey, I used to have to scrap with some of the neighbors who were my boys at the time because fucking Eminem came out with them Ken Kniff fucking skits and be like, Ken Kniff from Connecticut. And I had to deal with that shit. I had to deal with that. I had to deal with, oh, have you ever seen 50 Cent's house? Have you ever seen 50 Cent? No, I've never seen 50 Cent's house. So just like how people took it personal when I misspoke, I take the same shit personal too, because it's like, nigga, the fact that you walked your white ass into that comment section and started off with, hey guys, like the whitest opening you could ever fucking do, and then say, oh, I've said fuck Connecticut. Yeah, like
Renegades out, yeah.
Right, like I've said fuck Connecticut. And don't get me wrong, like
I remember reading the back and forth. I don't remember if it was on your page or it was on Kweli's page.
probably both.
Okay, yeah. I remember reading some of those comments. I'm like, this nigga really arguing with Talib Kweli. Like, I was like, this nigga's crazy. Like,
I caught 10,000 streams off the first day when he posted that shit on his page. And then it was just like,
you put it on DSPs.
I did. I put it on DSPs, and then you know what's so crazy too? It's always the same like typical white male looking. Look, I'm sorry, like all my white male friends, but they all got the fucking hat. That's either like mad black, like it's just a plain black hat. They usually a little chubby. They got the Cowboys jersey with the Jordan 13s and then the denim shorts. They all look the same fucking way, like the super lyrical, looking white dudes that love Eminem, and then and then Talib Kweli is like right there on the list. Ain't nothing wrong with loving Eminem. Eminem is dope, but like it was just a bunch of them in my fucking comments like, you will never do anything great as Talib Kweli, and like, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? So it was cool for a day, and then I let that shit go. It is what it is.
Like the outfit you described, they definitely all battle rappers.
All of them
They
niggas.
beefing with Geechee Gotti somewhere.
Yeah. They look like the nigga you remember the black dude that was doing the them college commercials? He's like, what are you doing with your life?
Right.
And he in the parking lot.
What is it?
the
The
same
Everest?
hat.
The Everest
Yeah.
nigga?
Sitting on the couch, yeah.
Who was the comedian that joked about that?
I think
Mike Epps. Mike
yeah.
Epps.
yeah.
What you doing? He said, you ever seen the Goodwin College commercials?
Yeah.
What you doing with your life? Huh? Nothing? Get off your... He's like, hey, yeah, but shout out to Mike Epps. But, you know, to play devil's advocate on what you said, though, I see where Chris Webby was coming from as far as let the words fly. Because nobody disses Indiana,
I mean,
Iowa, or Idaho,
I'm sure-
really. It
I'm
probably
sure
comes
niggas in Indiana be going at it.
It probably comes up, but do you get what I'm
I'm
saying?
from Gary, nigga.
You get what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Just like you said, some of the content you've been a little apprehensive about letting out there. And they do say even bad exposure is still exposure.
Right.
People don't take those cracks necessarily at Iowa, Idaho, Nebraska. They might say, oh, somebody from... But the way that they're mentioning Connecticut.
Yeah, especially Joe Rogan,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Fresh and
God.
Fit, like just all these
What
niggas.
Fresh and Fit say?
The same shit Joe
Brianna already
Rogan
came
saying.
at these niggas, so yeah.
Yeah, the
oh, they were
same
on
shit.
some fuck Connecticut?
Yeah, and they repeating the same thing. Oh, it's a pass-through state. It's a shithole. And then one again, back to my bitterness and my haterness. I used to fucking hate on Candace Owens so hard because I spent years chasing Kanye with a hard drive of beats because he used to live in Soho next to the Adidas store. And I used to go to Soho.
We pulled up in front of his apartment.
I used to go to Soho in hopes like he would come outside so I can give him my shit because he was
Same.
always getting rapped to by some whack ass niggas.
Like 2015, I feel
Yeah,
like that
2015.
time. It was like a new video every other week where somebody's like, "Hey, come on," and it's always some. They were.
Oh
no,
my God,
I hope
bro.
y'all are good. Whoever you niggas were in 2015 rapping to Kanye, I hope y'all are doing fine. But they were whack as
So
shit. Pull up in the
garbage,
car,
bro. But Candace
gotta sit there.
Owens, all she had to do was just say some shit about what she fucking believes in, and she's sitting right next to Kanye West. That shit made me mad, bro. Because I'm like, hold on, you could be a contrarian to your own people and then sit next to a nigga who lives and breathes off being a contrarian. And then, you know, after the MAGA hat shit, I was just like, all right, bro, like, you got it.
You know, she's from Stanford too.
I know she from Stamford, nigga. I know her sister. Shout out to Brittany.
Oh, I was
Like, I went to
an
middle
intern.
school.
I was an intern at the Maury show somewhere in 2018.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to Brittany. I
Yeah.
met Brittany, Candace Owens' sister.
I went to middle school with Brittany or whatever, and it shocked me that Candace was her sister. Because I first of all, I never seen Candace a day in my life. Maybe I have in passing,
How
but
old is she?
I don't know. I think we probably the same age. I think she's probably
Around your age.
30-something. I don't know, but I don't
I think she
remember.
went to Stanford High. You went to West Hill.
I went to West Hill, but still, like, I didn't seen everybody, like everybody,
Right.
like
Right.
in passing. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So I don't even. It's almost like Candace was Mandela affected into Stanford
Low key.
Because I'm like,
like-
who?
She could have just been one of those inside type of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting.
But like I was saying, it's up to Connecticut to prove the world wrong. If you want me to put it plain, give it to you just like
Do
that.
something about it.
Straight up, the pass-through state. If you don't have family and friends out here, they're correct. Shame on Talib Kweli for making fun of the bridges and the fucking tunnels. We're a big deal because of those bridges and tunnels historically.
Right.
One of the 13 colonies. But we're just gonna have to prove them wrong. That's one thing my mama always taught me is she used it as fuel to prove everybody wrong. And shout out to the fans we have in Ohio, California, Atlanta, Georgia, Lagos, Nigeria, Seoul, South Korea. You know what I'm saying? And on and on and on and on and on.
All I'm saying
Yeah.
is that if you got gripes about where the fuck you live at, keep it off camera. You know what I'm saying? If your crib dirty, you sit in the crib with your family and you say your crib dirty. You don't go out to the world and be like, nigga, you know my crib dirty as a motherfucker.
Right.
Got roaches everywhere. I hate living in my house. Stop telling people you don't like where you live at on camera, on
And I feel that
on the microphone.
You talk to anybody from Chicago, Miami, all that, they're gonna be like, I love me some Chicago. Oh my, they rep it hard.
Yeah.
And I feel, but I'm with you, and I'm not saying I'm on Chris Webby's side, but I hear him a little bit. I hear both of y'all. Devil on my shoulder. Oh, not devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And I hear both, but you know what I'm saying? It's just that you gotta stand on business when where you're from. That's your
Because
home.
you have no
Yes.
other choice. Like, I always thought that shit was corny as hell. Like, you hating on where you're from. Oh, I want to go to LA. I want to go to Miami. It's so whack here. It's like, mind you, I have aspirations. I want to, you know, spread my wings outside of Connecticut, but it's only because, like, I don't want to, like, stay grounded to one place forever. You want to take your chances elsewhere, see what you can do. I never will vocally, especially like you said, go on camera, go on microphones, and talk about fuck Connecticut.
That's terrible.
Because this is like, if you weren't raised here, how would you have been?
Right.
You talk about identity, teaching your kids identity.
Yeah.
What would your identity be
Right.
if you were raised somewhere else? Why does it matter?
Right.
They're playing
It's a
make believe.
hypothet-
They're playing make believe.
It's a hypothetical. You can
Right.
only go on based on it's, you know, nature, nurture, et cetera, et cetera. Your environment made you who you are here in Connecticut, here in Iowa, Nebraska, wherever you're from.
One thing I say is that you got to stay out of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because you're living in a fantasy when you're talking about shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Facts.
Straight up. And gentlemen at this table, how many of y'all know somebody that left New England, went to California, and hated that shit?
I know people in California that hate that shit.
So the grass don't be greener.
Right.
Not all the
They
time.
didn't think they
Not all
liked
the time.
Kentucky bluegrass. Not all the time, because I
Yeah.
can't lie. My folks, they moved from my mom and stepdad. They moved from Connecticut. They're in Georgia. They live in the dream. Like I said, I'm actually planning an escape route from Connecticut just because
route.
the most I have reverse underground
Nigga,
railroad.
ain't nobody holding you captive.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, go.
I'ma call it.
Go. Enjoy your life.
Right,
You know?
absolutely.
Take the train.
But the
Yeah.
reason why I stayed in Connecticut was to finish school,
Yeah.
and to work on my own legacy as well.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
That's just my life story. And I'm working on, you know what I'm saying, just new car, get the money right, find a job, go to Georgia, and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
All the
So
same.
nothing
Yeah.
holding me back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I'm finally putting the plan in motion.
There you go.
Yeah, shout out to Sholey. Big fan of Sholey. He's been like doing a lot of great things here. Like he's been packing out Toll's place consistently and doing Sholey and Friends. I've seen the flyers. Shout out to Juice Kings too in Stanford. Like I've seen the flyers.
Shout out to Juice King.
You know what I'm saying? I start my morning every day at Juice Kings. Real talk. Like been there since day one. But yeah,
Black
like
owned.
black owned for real. So yeah, Sholey is you know, I'm sure Sholey is like, he from Bridgeport. I'm sure he's looked around at Bridgeport, but never said his gripes about Bridgeport publicly. And so that's why I'm more comfortable with supporting somebody like that, because I see not only does he work hard, and he reps hard as well, and he shows love to everybody. So shout out to that nigga.
That's what's up.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, we are about an hour 15 in. This episode, we didn't get to some of the other stuff I wanted to get to, but hey, this is what I'm talking about. Free flowing
Yeah,
conversation.
it just, you know, it just happens. And I wanted to not thank you personally, but like, you know, you talking about the Juice Kings thing, and back when I think it was like COVID maybe, or it was like back or a little bit after they opened, and I had my paintings, and then you tagged me and you like, you know what I mean? It's like you shouted me out. It's like it's like, you know, that was just like a humbling experience, because, you know, it's like it's different when it's like, oh, bro, your art is fire. It's like, and then like, you know, somebody going to go see it, and then you get the recognition. It's like, I don't know, that just meant the world to me.
Yo, you're
And,
welcome.
like,
I
you know
took
what mean?
pictures in front of that
like,
joint.
That's
like,
what I mean. It's like I never had somebody like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But you know,
yeah. Nah, those
So-
paintings are beautiful. Like,
And mind you, these two gentlemen have never met before today.
yeah, like you
Yeah.
know, you met
Full
me right.
circle.
Yeah, you met me today, like in
Yeah.
the flesh. So that
I
was
thought he was a girl because it tastes her coffee. I thought it was a girl. Matter of fact, I thought you, and I forget her name, but shorty that worked, she used to work at Juice Kings, and she got glasses. So I think she got locks, and she's a painter. And I thought that was her. I thought that was her stuff. So
Word.
because your face wasn't on your Instagram,
Yeah.
art,
At the
so
time,
I thought you was
yeah.
a chick. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I hope I ain't said nothing that made it sound like I'm talking to a girl. So, but anyway, your art is amazing.
Appreciate
like,
you.
Super
Appreciate that.
fucking dope.
Appreciate that.
And you like in the back with it too, like on some like just super humble and don't be nigga. Like
I be
stop
telling
that
them,
shit.
bro. I be telling them,
Stop
man.
that shit. Like it literally, I can't see Juice Kings without your art on the wall. Like, I don't know if you ever seen Do the Right Thing, but when Bugging Out was like, Sal, why you ain't got no black people on the wall? Like, that's the black people on the wall. You know, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, identity.
Yeah.
Like, I identify your art with Juice Kings. So, like, if them paintings come down tomorrow, it would be a void in there.
Right.
Because they got that beautiful Juice Kings piece, like, right across from your art. But it's like your art adds to a certain kind of vibration and energy in there, especially the Pikachu joint and the Kobe
Sonic,
Bryant
yeah.
joint.
The Kobe isn't mine, but yeah, I got the Sonic up in there.
And the Sonic
Pikachu,
one,
yeah.
Oh, the Sonic one is crazy.
Big gamer.
I
So.
specifically wore an outfit just so I can match with the Sonic joint so I can take a picture in front of it. That's how much I love that picture.
Thank
So
you.
stop being humble, nigga. Talk your shit. Talk your shit. And thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Nice to meet you. My God, thank you so much. This is like, you know,
Yeah, brother.
this is a beautiful conversation amongst men, especially black men. And you know, real talk, you know, if you ever need a reoccurring guest, I would love to be here. And let's also make sure we check in on each other.
Yes.
Of course.
Because we have a lot of beautiful things going on between the four of us. So let's also have an accountability check, set goals, you know what I'm saying, and get on the phone. And I'm dead serious. Like, I will hop in your DMs. I will call you and be like, nigga, did you do what you were supposed to do? How are you today? You know, because we need that. We need that amongst us because
I be trying to push therapy to these niggas, but I don't know.
Bro.
Go.
I started during the pandemic. And it's helped me out. Now, the misconception about therapy is niggas think that they're
You're
gonna
crazy.
be healed and
Yeah.
everything's gonna be gone. But like, I got this scar on my elbow that I got from when I was 7 years old, right? And do it hurt? No, it don't hurt, but I still remember where I got it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to treat therapy the same way. It's going to save your life. Period. And also when you choose your therapist opposite of what you're comfortable with, because that's where the real growth is. Real talk. So again,
That's
gentlemen,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
because I have a
interesting.
black woman therapist,
Facts.
and I love
Yeah.
her to death. But like, I had to say to myself, I'm like, I need to grow, and I felt like I hit a cap with her, and I'm like, okay, let me get a black male therapist now, so I can get a different perspective. It's changed my life greatly. It's helped me with my depression and my suicidal thoughts. Are they still there? Absolutely, but I made best friends with my demons. We dap it up every morning. He there. He there. He be like, "What's up, nigga? What we doing today? Are we eating cookies and cakes today? We having a shot of alcohol? You love mezcal margaritas? What we doing?" And I'm like, "Nah, not today, bro. But I'm gonna see you later, though."
And my last bit is hard times create hard men. And hard men create smooth times. However, smooth times create soft men. And soft men create hard times. You see, we need to be emotional. We need to cry. We need to take accountability. But these women, our nation, and the world need hard men.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I was wondering where that was
Yeah,
going.
I was
I was
Yeah. These women. I was like, Malik.
No.
Yeah. Malik, no.
Yeah. Malik's here in spirit. Yeah. Well, you used the wrong word. If Malik wouldn't have used the word women. But anyways,
See, that ain't right.
listen. Giving flowers, healing, and just keep going. Keep your head up. You know, whoever's listening. Keep going forward. And we hope this episode could, in some way, give you a nice little espresso shot in the morning, afternoon, or night, whenever you are listening to it. Shout out to our guest, hon Voyage right here. Shout out to our guest, Ivory Snow right here. Of course, shout out to Coffee Beatty. And I'm your boy, Jet Perry. Guys, you've been listening to the Slandering Table. We appreciate all the support. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified every Sunday at 6. We release on YouTube at 12 a.m. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, we release at 6 a.m. We appreciate the love and support. Weekly episodes coming at you. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing. That's all you can do in this life. So with all that being said, we will catch you on the next one. Salutations.
See me shopping, sipping bubbly. Remember ugly to luxury. Yeah, go. Got a lingerie from the SoNo collection. Bad bitch, I don't want no protection. Did you eat breakfast? Girl, I'm just checking. I don't go to LA Fitness. Girl, I'm just flexing. Ask the right questions, it could change your direction. Please come my way, baby, walk my direction. Bad bitch with me, different complexion. Married to the music, commitments and confessions. Seen the demons get on me, and they spit on me. Ate my face when I was hungry. See me rubbing on my tongue. Displaced without money.